especially enjoyed your conversation around Black women and luxury. I really, really appreciated that, right? So that, because you can be shamed by in a number of different ways.
Exactly.
By your loved ones and everyone. And feel like if you don't deserve it, or you're wasting or something. So I really definitely appreciated you having that conversation and your experience. So thank you.
Hi, so a very different setting for you. I am actually, as you can tell by the title of this video, I decided to talk about this subject. I've been meaning to talk about it for a while, and I have 3 special guests, and I wanted to have them be a part of this discussion. So I grab a cup of tea, coffee, glass of wine, and I haven't seen anyone talk like this on YouTube properly at length and really dissect it. And that's why I decided to have this conversation. So anyway, I'm actually currently upstate, but the time this video goes live, I will be coming back, and I'll be back in New York. But anyway, take care, my loves. Enjoy. Welcome, everyone. And as you can tell by the title of this YouTube video, we are talking about women, in particular Black women, and as it pertains to, we pertain to luxury. This has actually already taken place, this discussion, in another form on my Instagram, on IGTV. But the only difference is my mate Paula, who a lot of you from YouTube already know, she is going to be on it this time with me, with us. Tamu McPherson, who is an absolute fierce force in the fashion space. She truly is. And I'm honored that she could be on this with us to have this discussion. And then we also have, drum roll, because this is the reason why I'm actually doing this in the first place. It is because of Candice Brathwaite, who I was introduced to by Paula. She's the reason that I even got to know her. So it makes even more sense that Paula is on this. So how shall I kick this off? Do you feel that this is a discussion should be taking place, or do you think that this is like a redundant discussion? Are we just kind of like beating a dead horse amongst ourselves talking about it, or do you think this is something that we should be? I'll open it up to anyone.
Well, I think we should be talking about it, because I think we're just learning, we're just learning about our reactions, how we deal with things, how we see things. And we should talk about it, because if we don't, sweep it under the carpet, just festers, as in Candice's reel that she posted, which sort of like started this. She had to check herself, and it made, we need to talk about it. So we all check ourselves. It's not really about pointing the finger. We're not saying, because we're all guilty of it. But we just need to discuss why we're guilty of it, why we think like this, and why we behave. So it's not a redundant topic, far from it.
Okay. I think that, Candice encouraged us to make a commitment to keep ourselves accountable. We need to keep the conversation going.
I wouldn't say it's redundant. I think for me, what is becoming a little painful and a little tiresome is almost the infighting of this conversation. Like we were saying off camera earlier, I've noticed of late, there are like think pieces around Black women and luxury, and there are Black women pulling other Black women down for enjoying luxury brands or buying luxury products. And I'm like, it's never that deep. Like, we all just watch a sexual predator come out of prison because of a technicality. What Shanae or Lucy or Sharma is wearing on her arm could never be stirring up this much fire in you that you've got a 6,000 word essay to write. I'm just like, can we not just live in a way that doesn't say that what I'm doing is bad or what you're doing is bad, but within the Black female community, the judgment on anything, your hair's not long enough, it's not straight enough, I can see your lace, you need your body done, you need to lose weight. Even the discussion about Black women in luxury, to me, files under the column of policing Black women. What else can we use to police Black women? What else can we say they are doing incorrectly? What else can we use as the campfire to bring them around and watch them tear each other to pieces? And to watch our sisters do this, it makes me so uncomfortable, which is why in that original video, when I saw this said influencer with another Chanel bag, I had to pause and be like, why seeing her with yet another bag? Why has that made you uncomfortable? Because you just scrolled past 5 white women who have bought another Birkin or Kelly, and you were like, that's cute, that's cute, that's cute. But when confronted with someone that looks like you, who is affording the same lifestyle, why has that made you get knots in your stomach? And I think a word like jealousy is almost too saccharine. It's like, it was me really confronting that. Me seeing her with those things brought up a deep idea of lack of self-worth in myself. It's not just, oh, you're jealous, or, you know, or you want to chat mess. It's like, no, when I really strip back those layers, it came from a place of that made you feel that way because there is a part of you that believes that you're undeserving or you cannot achieve this. And that's not a her problem, that's a you problem. And you might want to have this conversation publicly, because I feel like on the sly, it's an us problem.
Very well said. And Paula, as someone who, you're not, you know, in this whole content creation space outside, you know, the three of us. So I especially also wanted you on this because of that, because I'm not saying that you represent every woman who isn't, because you don't, but you be honest.
I have done, yeah, no, I'm going to be honest. I have done the same. I have done the not the jealousy thing, but the sort of the stripping down, like, so how does she manage to, you know, and so, yeah, trying to work it out, you know, get all the maths going and the, you know, sort of flicking through the sort of like, so, okay, oh, that's her husband. And, you know, sort of like Google, see if I can Google, you know, yeah, so I have been guilty of all of that. And I wouldn't necessarily do that to a white influencer. I do, but not with such
passion or
yeah, passion. Look, straight off the bat. And not so much now, because I have checked myself and I have educated myself, and I do know that there is a platform open to influencers that allow them a luxury. And I know it's extremely hard work. I've you know, just from being with you, and I don't know, even like with people who aren't influencers who do unboxing or, you know, have a new outfit on, or I just allow them. I praise them. I allow them to be now without trying to figure out why. You know, just allow people to be and to have and to enjoy and to live that life, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
But I will say is that I am literally the gatekeeper to a lot of the comments on Karen's posts, and I just like, I go for the trolls. Like, why are you? I just go for them. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, so if any of you are out there, it's me that's flipping.
They could put a face to the name, unlike they don't put a face to their name.
Come for me now. Bloody hell. But yeah, it's
yeah.
You know, I want to talk about the collective trauma that we experience as Black people around the world, Black women around the world. And when we historically think about, you know, coming from slavery, Jim Crow, you know, lack of civil rights in our respective countries, being immigrants in our, in the colonies that held our countries, and just the fight and the struggle to have something, to acquire items that made up the status quo, to acquire those status pieces, to acquire the fancy bags. But I think in a society where we are pitted against each other because of oppression, I do feel that at a certain point, that jealousy and that hating and that, you know, the stress that is related to keeping up with the Joneses starts to chip away at us, starts to chip away at our friendship, starts to chip away at our sisterhood. You know, because come on, undeniably, considering all of the obstacles that we have had historically, we have always influenced culture and style, you know, and the fact that every time, you know, we were I don't know, given a platform to shine, it was always limited in some way, whether we were going through the kitchen to sing in our fancy dresses, whether we were on, you know, a track field, you know, give me another sport like a boxing field, the flair, the strength. I mean, all of this was just always limited in a certain way. We experience a trauma because we're all trying to go after that thing in society that the patriarchy says is the thing that we need to belong. And, you know, it's unattainable, but why can't we love beautiful things? And why can't we pursue beautiful things? And why are members of our sisterhood, you know, hating on us and criticizing us and sending us all that negative energy when we are able to play, when we are able to consume, when we are able to acquire, you know, luxury items? And I think it's definitely related to the trauma. And unfortunately, it's a, you know, it's a psychological, deep kind of wound that prevents you from being happy for your sister, you know, when she is able to enjoy those pieces.
I'm glad you said this because it reminds me of something that Candice said. I'm paraphrasing Candice. Why should I have to drag up my trauma, you know, and all my past hurt and the crosses I've borne to justify my buying this bag, you know, this bag.
Where you're at now.
Why do I have to do that to make it palatable for you to be
lay out your whole journey,
to give me a pass and go, oh, okay, then I guess that's fine because you suffered enough. So why do we have to say sorry? Why do we have to apologize? Men don't apologize when they're successful and they buy whatever they want, whatever it is. I don't care. Men don't, I'm speaking in general, but generally speaking, men don't do this to men. But women, we do it with each other. And it's why I keep hearing time and time again, you know, and it makes me sad now, like when I'll watch, whether it's a YouTuber or someone on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, they're going to put some kind of justification before they show you what they got. It's almost like they not afraid, but maybe they are sort of semi-afraid to show because they know the reaction that they're going to get. So they have to justify it first. I've worked so hard. It's my birthday. I just gave birth. I just invented the rocket that's going to the moon. Therefore, I can get a bag. How's that? Fingers crossed.
It's just, and I was vlogging, use that term lightly, earlier today, and I was sitting in what is now finally a walk-in wardrobe. And I was like, might give you guys a tour, probably won't, because I'm not yet comfortable showing what I own. Seeing how Black women are treated for sharing particular items, I am not comfortable leaving my aura open to what in my house we call red eye. I'm not there for that just yet. No, my heart isn't strong enough just yet. And what a true shame, because you don't have to dig hard to find my trauma. I made a video about this the other day. I definitely built a career off the back of trauma, for which now the price I am paying is trying to live in freedom and liberty and happiness without someone saying,
you there.
They want to keep you there.
Oh, you've changed. You've changed. You've changed. And it's like, because I don't want to talk about past trauma and abuse. And like Tamu said, we ain't new to this. When I was raised by my maternal granddad, and as he used to get me dressed in the morning, he would say, if you don't have £1 in your pocket, no one should know it. I came to this country with nothing but a briefcase and a 3-piece suit, and it was that suit that got me through the door, because it really did say no black, no Irish, no dogs. So every day I had to put on my Sunday best to just think about getting a job. And so, okay, now I'm not gonna lie, like the measurement has changed. So maybe now it's not ironing my hair ribbons, it is me thinking about a Birkin or a Kelly, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like we were taught to stand up proud and dress well and look good, no matter what you were earning. So when I see us now being so volatile and so vindictive about something that isn't even changing, again, you're maybe just feeling uncomfortable because people always made you feel that these brands you could not invest in, these brands you could not touch. Again, it's like the story of Oprah wanting the girl to get the bag down. And the girl who didn't recognize Oprah was like, ma'am, you cannot afford that. I will not bring that bag down for you. It's us, I would say, and I don't want to put anyone down, but I would say it's women, it's Black women with a broader mind, not being so held back by their past traumas, who are reaching for those things, who are slightly now paying a price, especially if you're willing to share your blessings publicly. And that's really hard to look upon, because I always run the caveat of in my opinion, this is the way I live my life is not 90% of the UK's real life. And I know that because I've been part of that 90%. And the way I shop now and the way I run my business now is not how most of this population can do that, you know? So I'm not, I never want to share to make you feel bad. I hope I can share to inspire. But I just feel like sometimes it's lost in translation.
Well, I want to follow up something that you said, all of you said. It's self-worth. The Black woman does not feel that she's worthy of acquiring these pieces, because globally we are that one community that is really taken for granted, supports vast communities, but we're made to, we're the least considered. The fact is that I think it was Candice, when you're saying there's always the caveat, like, you know, I could buy this hair pick because, and I have to tell you why, I have to dredge up my trauma. No, I could buy it because from day one, I've been working hard to buy it. From day one, I've been making sacrifices to buy it. And so why should I have to explain that to you? I am worthy. I am worthy of purchasing something so darn beautiful that has been made so well. I am worthy of that. And no, I don't have to.
Even if you put it on your credit card, it's nobody's business.
Exactly.
You bought it. You wanted it. You bought it. You'll figure out how to pay for it later. It's just a justification, constant.
I feel like we're forever, like I said, we're saying sorry. We're forever having to say, we're justifying. You know, I'm sure a lot of the followers, a lot of people know that we work hard. Some don't. They just think we take photos. And talking about this industry, they think we just take photos and that's it, and that's done. But that's not what it is at all, because our industry, as I've always said, is compared to like a pyramid. They're just seeing like the top part, that smallest part of the triangle, but they're not seeing actually what's going on, which is a 99.9%. I did have, I'm not going to put her name on here because I've not asked her in advance, but I did meet up with another content creator, Black woman. We went for dinner, and she was talking about how she purchased something, showed it on her channel, her YouTube channel, and she got it as a birthday gift, and she got a lot of hate for it. She'd never had this item ever before, the first one, and to get that kind of response. But we were saying to each other, and I said to her, I feel like we are, you know, like when you go to war and you got the soldiers and you got like the first line. I said, we're the first line. There's more of us coming. We are the first line of, not necessarily the first, but in this generation of, in this industry, I'm keeping it to, but it applies to others, of Black women, relatively successful. We are that first line of defense. We're those first soldiers, and we are going to have to take the hit we're going to have to take those arrows, get and have those people say all those things. Why are you wasting your money? You should have bought this. And then I think that over time, once that line falls, you're going to get more behind. It's going to be a bit more, I think it will start to become a little bit more accepted because they just see it more.
I was going to say that our parents didn't do it, and our parents' parents didn't do it. Correct. So my mum wouldn't spend half the money that I would spend on clothes. She wouldn't have as many shoes. So then you've got this thing of, we weren't taught this from our parents. So our white counterparts, they had more luxury in their life. They were afforded more luxury items. They were afforded more holidays. They would go out to eat. You know, it's back to the old thing, there's rice at home. You know, our parents didn't go out. We went out for meals for special occasions, not just because we, you know, there's rice at home. So, so now I know that my son will have a different attitude towards money and luxury and self-care and looking out for himself, and, you know, just spending money differently. And I am that bridge in between my mum, where I am very careful with money, but I enjoy money more than my mum ever did. And I just think that, as you say, you're the front line. You are the line that says, you know, the next generation won't think twice about spending and going on luxury holidays and, you know, using their luxury items instead of saving them for best. Because I've always done that.
Yeah,
these shoes are for best.
That's true. That's very
true.
true.
And I'm still trying to knock it out of me, but it's yeah, it's difficult.
I think this also applies to women in general that are doing it to each other. It probably will never stop, but will it start to get smaller and smaller? Do you know what I mean? Or is it just going to go bigger and bigger? You know?
I think in our personal spaces, that noise will get smaller and smaller, because the reality is the energy you put out is what you attract, and so you are just more likely to attract people who are have a broader way of thinking, or who are not stuck in the mindset of it can only be this or that. Because many of the comments are like, oh, you could have bought a house, maybe I've got 3 of those, you know, but it feels like it's very like, so you bought that means you're not doing that. Number one, we don't know that about anyone. Number two, especially in the Black community, it's always been sold as one or the other. You can't possibly be buying Hermes bags and have an investment portfolio. You can't possibly have Chanel bags and you know, dependent upon where you live, be paying for your healthcare. You must be trying to stunt. You must be leaving yourself broke in some aspect. And I think the more we put the way we're living out there and the positive vibes, I think the noise will get quieter, because we will just naturally attract like-minded women. And the only thing we can hope for is that we leave the door open for women who may want to change their mind, or who may wake up one day and say, I can have that, and I am worthy. And I'm worthy of saying, I don't want to cook today. Because this is another thing. What is luxury? It's not always a Chanel bag. It's not always like, it doesn't always have a label on it. Sometimes the luxury is not bussing yourself down in the kitchen for no man. Sometimes that's the luxury. Sometimes the luxury is finally saving up enough to leave a relationship that's tearing you apart. Maybe that's the luxury. And I think that energy of being accepting of luxury, of really putting your self-worth in this aspect higher than you can reach, really then will allow you to attract other women who have the same vibe. I think if we wait for it to be dependent upon whether naysayers be quiet, our skeletons will be on this Zoom. Like, we will die waiting, you know?
When I was growing up, my mom, one time, I knew how to cook an egg before like junior high school. And my mom caught me cooking this egg, and she was like, get away from that stove. I was like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna cook the egg. She was like, well, no, you're not gonna ever have to cook for yourself. That is the manifestation that she was putting in my world. That's what she was seeing for me. The only problem with that, the catch-22, is that I actually like to cook, but she told me, you're never going to have to cook. I'm not doing all of this so that you're going to have to cook. You know what? It is a luxury, and I 100% agree. If you decide that you want to go out every day of the week, you should be able to go out every day of the week, eat at a nice restaurant, eat what you want. I mean, is it going to end? It's going to end if we keep talking about it. You know, that these things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, you can enjoy luxury and be financially solid. You know, this happens. We're smarter now. We have access to more information when it comes to investing. You know, that's happening. And don't shame me. Don't, you know, make me feel so uncomfortable that I can't enjoy the things that I am, you know. And the other thing too is that is kind of like a poor people's mentality. And, you know, I come from poverty. Like, I definitely don't come from wealth. And it's like a cycle that you keep going on. And you prefer to stay in a space because that's what you know. And you stay in that space because that's when you're talking about, like, when people criticize you for changing, because you want to do something different. Your family is criticizing you because you're moving in a different way. It's no, I want to enjoy what I find to be luxurious. Please don't hold me back. Please don't make me feel uncomfortable. I am worthy. I can do this. Thank you, ancestors, for everything you've done for me to open up this space for me. So I think we need to break the cycle. And like you guys said, we're doing it now because we're on this episode of YouTube together. Candice has the college fund for her children. You know, Karen redid her place and she invited me this summer when I come. I just got back from Saint-Tropez. You know, like Paula and I are best friends now, so I'm going to find out her deal. She's breaking that cycle for her son. And that's the thing. You guys were doing it. And don't hate on us, because you could be there to break that cycle. You know, poverty is a state of mind. Like, you know, not having to access to luxury is a state of mind, you know. And I want to just emphasize what you guys said. You know, deciding not to do something that you don't want to do that day is luxury. Yeah, it's not, you know, a Miu Miu top, you know, it's just having the freedom.
Something that Candice was saying was she built her career on the back of trauma, okay, and she's come out of it on the other end. Now, just to add to that, it struck a chord with me because I built a lot of my channel, particularly on YouTube, but the blog too, on loving vintage and thrifting. I'll still always run into a vintage shop. It's just who I am. It's just my DNA. You hear and it's funny because I do read the comments of, oh, you know, if I do a video and it's showing some things I've purchased and they're not luxury, they are not thrifted or vintage, you know, I do get the comments saying, oh, she's changed. Oh, you've changed. Oh, you know, the price of that is the price of me going to or doing this, or, you know, those kind of things. And I think to myself, is it that, to like Candice was saying, is it like they want you to be the way they found you, because that's how they first found you. So the way they found you is how they've defined you. I think that it's like you can't move from that box that was they defined and found you at to where you have grown next. And it's not like I've left these things behind, because you can walk and chew gum at the same time. These things are not mutually exclusive. You know, I can own things that cost £10 or $10 and something that costs the exact polar opposite, and enjoy them both and mix them both, because that's something that I've always loved to do anyway. But it seems like it's like, oh no, you've changed. Like a song has said, you can be successful, but not too successful. So it's just getting used to, I think, seeing luxury around people that look like us. I think that's what this is.
That's such a good thing, because my other half constantly laughs because he has the privilege of being born and raised in Nigeria, very middle upper class. That's the only way to describe his upbringing. And he's like, if you have it in Nigeria, you are so flossy, you are borderline showing off. And he's like, that's not even like a bad thing. It's just our banter. It's just our flair. And he always says, you people, he's like, you people now that have been chop up and sent to different places, it's like being around a majority that does not reflect you sends you mad. He was like, if you had the luxury of being where you were really from, he said you would really know what living in luxury feels like, because he said, I am the majority where I'm from, and I've been taught to walk like a king. And unfortunately, because you are in a space where you are a minority, everything about you is small and shrunken. Guess what? They're not judging each other for it. I just think it's also us being Black faces in primarily white spaces and being a reflection to other Black women of what you are not allowed to have and achieve. I think it's that, because when I get, and I haven't been able to do it as much as I want because of the pandemic, but when I get around women that look like me, who all think or feel the same or believe they're worthy, there is such an unmistakable energy, like an electricity, that I'm like, how differently would I walk if I could be around this energy every day?
All the time.
You know, you guys are really making me think about how we have been ingrained with this scarcity mentality, and the fact that we all should, like, you know, Karen was saying, I can't move forward because that's where we are. We're in a holding pattern, and it's a holding pattern of scarcity. And so let's all stay there. Now, the funny thing is, we all saying, you know, we're moving on up. We're striving, you know, in the 70s and the 80s, we're striving to move on up in society. But yet it's like our Achilles heel or something, that we are just willing to stay in this space of scarcity, and we're willing to project that on our sisters.
Any last points? Because I know this is like the time.
My only last point was that because I do see a lot of comments, I spend a lot of time on TikTok, and with the women, very correctly, because it's their standpoint, bringing out these think pieces. The argument is like, you know, do they understand that acquiring this thing doesn't make us any more worthy in the white man's eyes? That's very the stance they're going with. And I'm just like, again, can we just not police each other and just be? And just be, because baby, if it weren't the bag, it's the fact that I want to wear weave, and if it weren't the weave, it would be the skin color of my man, and if it weren't the man, it's the fact I cannot cook. There is always something, and we do it to ourselves. I know that holding the Chanel bag doesn't mean that I'm more likely to be targeted in stop and search. I know that holding this bag is not going to stop a white person from calling me the N-word, but I just like the feel of this effing lambskin. Let me breathe.
Like, let me live.
Yeah.
I think that's what we can take away from this whole thing, is just live and let live, and stop judging. Just stop. It's just, I don't know. I think it's really, really sad. And as you say, the whole cock blocking of the energy, you know, just enjoy it, just love it. You know, watch Karen unboxing a bag and just feel, yes, you know, just I don't know. I know I keep saying just. It is alien. It is alien to me. I know that I have said that I've been guilty of it in the past, but it's not an ingrained, lingering, festering, poisonous. You know, it skips by me, just as like I will. You know, I'll be in a bar and I go, how the hell is that woman walking in those heels? You know, it just skips past me and then it's gone. I won't go to bed thinking about it.
Yeah, and also we're just leaving, we're leaving space for people who look like us, who watch us, and who can say, finally I can see someone who looks like me. And it's a, it's an effect going up and down. I watch people who like Jackie Aina on, YouTube, or Patricia Bright, whoever who has also, as a woman who looks like me, I'll look at them and go, wow, yes, it's possible. You can do it. Wow, that's brilliant. That's the kind of thing we should be doing with each other versus like, oh, that's not gonna, you've just cut off the universe giving you what it was about to. You know what I mean? Because you've just put out this negative energy immediately.
Don't skip steps. Don't just see Karen with the bag and be jealous of her for the bag. Now separate that and see Karen the businesswoman, because that's where the realty is. It's not even the thing. How did she acquire the thing? Are we going to respect the steps to the thing? And it's that, for me, it's like, again, we're not here to judge people how they bought something or how they didn't, but most Black women are on their hustle to achieve anything. And you to just get on YouTube or any social media platform and just hate on another Black woman because she's chosen to spend that amount on a bag, that makes me so deeply sad, because we're literally trying to lay a blueprint. We're literally saying, if you want to bust out of a 9-to-5 and build your own business and have a mini empire, here's how we did it. Hopefully you won't fall at the same hurdles. And if you want, this is a version of a reward at the end of the line, if you so choose. But it's the not seeing that for me. It's not seeing the CEO or the micromanaging or the going back and forth with brands and negotiating. It's the not seeing that for me. If we are going to like chastise Black women for holding a luxury item as some kind of prize, can we at least go back and respect the business steps that got her to that point? Because I see how they come for Jackie Aina and Patricia Bright, and I'm like, but these women really are going to be the blueprint for a daughter like mine, who's like, wow, how do I use this internet and this computer to build a life of my dreams?
You need the power of needing to just see yourself.
They have access to your journeys because there is the archive and they can follow the archive all along, and we're ignoring it to take a sister down. Before you do that, really have a look, because unfortunately many of the women that you're criticizing now for the past 10 years have been explaining how they've been able to achieve things. And so now, if they don't want to, now that they've grown into themselves, and now that and now they're just like, well, I'm not going to justify my purchase anymore. It's not about changing. It's about growing up without explaining to anyone. Take the time to truly, connect with who you're following, with who you say you're supporting. How are you supporting if you're criticizing and making the person feel bad about enjoying something that they've undoubtedly worked for?
I remember once somebody wrote a comment saying, oh, Karen, so you've got that. Now you've got this bag. What's next? The Bentley? And I thought, actually, you know what I mean? Now
I'm working on that, girl. I'm working.
you know what? Now you've said that, but you know what? I thought about it and I thought, that's a good idea. But then I thought, actually, I don't want that. I want something bigger than the Bentley. I want something way more than that. I want something that's way more lasting and way more profit giving than a car. So you've got to be able to dream big. I say this to followers all the time. Dream bigger than you can actually see it. Believe it. It doesn't matter if you don't, because you're going to start going, yeah, but how much? How? Yeah, but sorry, I'm going to bleep this. You let the universe is there for a reason. It's there to figure out the how, and it always will if you meet it halfway with believing and having that goal. Set a really big one and watch what happens.
Yeah. I remember growing up and there might be black women that resonate with this. Let me tell you, if you're growing up and people around you say you think you're too nice, you're halfway there. If people around you say and you were 15, 16, 18, whatever, and people around you, oh, you think you're too nice, you think you're too much, you're halfway on the road, baby, because that energy is already growing, it's already mutating, you're already giving off an energy where people can see flame, the better for all of us. Do not let your current situation define how wide your mindset is and how much you think of yourself, because I'm telling you, once I understood that, no, don't do that. I was raised on Somerleyton Estate in Brixton, and I used to slather my walls in cutouts from Vogue, and my mum used to be like, are you okay, are you on crack, like what is all of this? And I know we're on this bad estate, but I'm gonna wake up every day and I'm gonna look at these things, and one day, and everyone was like, you're crazy, you think you're too nice, but hey ho, we got there in the end. I also want to talk to the women who do want to branch out or know that's their energy and just need that little shove. Like, if you feel that way, like, tip the scale, sis, it's good over here.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to end on that. You know, you turn around and you reach to help the next one in line. That's what this is all about. And that's how it should be. So I want to say thank you for coming on. Candice, you're the goat. You are the one that why this started.
It's good over here. It's good over here. I'm gonna put that on the back of my jacket. It's good over here.
Paula, thank you very much for even introducing me to her in the first place. If anyone watching YouTube does not know who these people are, I'm going to put their Instagram names on the screen so you can go ahead and follow them. Candice also has a book which her latest book is Sister, am I right?
Yeah.
I don't even have that book. I'm going to buy that book. Yeah, thank you, Tamu. Thank you for everyone for doing this. I wanted to do it. I don't do anything like this on my channel, and I wanted to. Simple as that. But thank you, my loves. Take care.
See you later.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
We don't have to do anything. The scent of skin is strong enough. Huddle a little bit closer, babe. Let's see if I can warm you up. Oh, babe, snuggle